Welcome to Safeguard, Strategy Analysis for Environmental GHGs under AB 32 Regulatory Demands. We put a lot of work into this and we're really glad to get a chance to show it off. So now that you've actually installed it, let's give you a little rundown of some of the features that are involved in Safeguard. Safeguard was actually designed to help communities abate their greenhouse gas emissions in the most cost-effective manner available. We've created a framework for multiple strategies to be used and be able to incorporate to bring down those emissions for those communities. The first thing you see when you open Safeguard is this login screen. It was designed for consultants to use, so there are multiple cities available. In this case, we're going to use Ventura. We're going to log in with the username that we were given already. Here we go. This is the main screen when you log in. San Buenaventura, California is the city we're working with right now. You can see around here, this is our blog area. We actually get a chance to keep up with status updates for the project, and other members can help keep us involved with what's going on. Also at a glance, you can see the baseline emissions that we're working with, and an environmental tip of the day. Under baseline emissions, we can click here and actually enter in the emissions by category: electricity, natural gas, gasoline, diesel fuel, and landfill. These are the sectors that we decided to work with, and they're based off of inventories that are done by other software packages like Igloo, for instance. Also in here, you're going to choose the inventory year that you're working from. And, just as a bonus, we give you a live viewing of the emissions as well. Next thing you'll do is you'll come down here to these geographic conditions. This is where we're actually going to start putting inputs in for this community in particular. The first thing we're going to do is climate. So as an example here, we have instructions on the left-hand side trying to show you what you should be doing to collect this information. It's going to be used for the strategies later on. By default, building climate zone is actually entered for you when you put the zip code in for your community. Additionally, down here in this area, we always have a web page that's available to give you information that's associated with the data that you're trying to collect. We're trying to help you find this information instead of making you go search for it. Another example is using this PV Watts tool from NREL, part of the Department of Energy. We're going to choose the most suitable location that's actually nearby our site, so in this case it's Los Angeles. The same is going to be done for other categories such as precipitation and heating and cooling degree days. When we're all done, we're going to click Save. Next we go into city characteristics. These are a little bit more generic for the city, and they're going to cover the rest of the inputs that are needed for strategies. In this case, this was a little bit more complicated one, so we give you more instructions that you can use here. This was looking for square feet of roof space for the city. Then we get into things like the electricity and the energy. You have to choose your electricity provider that's covering the city, and this is used for the emissions coefficient, the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that are emitted per kilowatt hour of electricity. Demographics. Next is residential, municipality, and transportation data. These are the ones that we're asking for right now, but of course these inputs would change with different strategies later on. Next thing you're going to do is go down to this strategies area. Choosing strategy settings, you can see the strategies that we've already input into the software. You can go down the list here on the left-hand side and simply disable strategies that you don't think are suitable or politically feasible in your community. And on the right-hand side here, you can actually force strategies through whether or not they may be economically feasible. Additionally, for each one of the strategies listed here, there's a number of settings you can actually change from the defaults. Let's give an example. Cool roofs, for instance, allows you to change the percentage of the city that you would possibly be able to apply cool roofs to. This is determining that we maybe would only be able to allow up to 12% of the rooftop space in the city to be covered in cool roof. Additionally, this shows you the square feet of cool roof that you could possibly put entirely on the city that we entered earlier, and then costs for the materials. At the bottom of each of these is a write-up on the strategy itself, and it gives you the assumptions, limitations, and information that we use to put our strategies together. We do this for a number of strategies, 20 as we stand right now. When you're all done with these settings here, click Save. Last thing you'll do before you run the scenario is click Scenario Settings. You're going to choose how you're actually trying to order the strategies based on either lowest capital cost or shortest payback period. Then the discount rate that you're going to choose, in our case 4%, and the annual emissions increase. Business as usual is what this is known as, and we're choosing 1% for this, but these are also adjustable. Below, you're going to see the scenario targets, the year you're starting your emissions changes, and the year you want to end. If you choose 2020 is the year you're ending, or earlier, you can choose the AB32 goals. These are 1990 levels by 2020, or the Executive Order S305, which is 20% of 1990 levels, a lofty goal. Hopefully our software can help. When you're all done here, click Save, and then you're ready to calculate your scenario, and see what happens. Well, here we go. These are our results for Ventura. We show you here the total that we started out with in our inventory, and the end result in 2020, including the emissions growth. We tell you up here whether or not you actually achieved the goal. In this case we did. We had enough strategies to actually get us to the end goal. Beyond that, we also tell you the total capital cost and the annual average savings per citizen. We tell you the goal that you were working with, and the emissions per unit, as well as the cost per unit of fuel sources. If you want to get even more in-depth into this report, we can go on to each individual strategy and see their own write-ups. These are the state strategies, ones that we assume have no cost to the community itself, things that are already at play. Once we get beyond these state strategies, though, then we can start seeing the strategies in the city. For instance, low-flow showers. We show you here the amount of CO2 saved annually in tons, as well as the savings and the capital cost. The net present value, and we say here it's 10 years because that's what our scenario was running for at our 4% discount rate, as well as the annual savings in electricity and natural gas, and any other categories that might be involved. Additionally, we also show you the assumptions that went into this strategy. When you're all done, you can either print out the report or save a PDF. That's our software. And if you need any help at any time, you can simply go up to the Help menu and choose Online Manual, and it'll walk you through all the steps that I've already went through. Thanks for using Safeguard. Look forward to hearing from you.